Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Madness Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 7th and 8th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kilber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silver Sunday. Today is May the 15th, 2022. So we're running Skeleton Crew tonight. How you doing, Pete?
Well, I'm okay. Oh, I want to show you something.
Yeah, please.
Because I did Comic Con last week, hence why I wasn't here.
Right.
And I picked up the coolest thing in the world.
What'd you get?
Check out this bad boy.
Cool. All right.
Infinity Gauntlet, everything. It's amazing.
Wow.
I try not to spend money when I'm at conventions because I'm trying to make money. But,
it's hard not to, right?
I couldn't say no to that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Other than that, com's good.
Yeah, good. Sell lots?
I've almost sold out of all my Silverline team-up books.
Wow.
I think I've got one or two left.
That's great news.
One of which is the one they can flick through and have a look at before they buy it. So that's been thumbed quite a lot.
Your preview copy, right?
Then I've got a few of the B covers, like 2 of those left. So I've not got any left really.
Wow.
It's a good thing I'm not doing another convention now until September. So
well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we know the printer, right?
We got it. We got a guy. We got a guy.
Yes. Yeah. So how was now? That's not your first. When your first convention back?
No, first convention back. I guess
last year, right?
It was October last year. Maybe
Yeah.
before that, just before that. But it's the first one this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have them like you guys. We don't have one every single weekend.
Man, that's
We
just
have.
you know what? That's just Florida. I think Florida's
I think
nuts.
from what I've seen, it's all over. You have one. I follow guys on Instagram, and they seem to be at one every single weekend. And sometimes they're little small things, and sometimes they're
Yep.
big megacon things.
Yep.
But there seems to be something going on every weekend.
Speaking of
Not
MegaCon,
here.
that's this coming week.
Oh, of course it is. Yes, it is.
Yep, that's the big one. And I actually have
You
a
going to
friend
that?
of mine. I wasn't planning on going, but a friend of mine reached out to me last week and he said, "Hey, are you going to MegaCon?" And I said, "No, I didn't make the cut." I haven't made the cut since. So long story short, MegaCon was purchased. There's new ownership a few years ago. And I used to go every year. They would give me I mean, I'm local, so they would give me the invitation, right? And they would invite me as a guest, set me up in the artist row, and I went. New owners came around, and they're like, "We have a new process. You have to apply to be a guest." I'm like, "Okay, whatever, that's fine." I apply. I haven't made it since. It's like I'm literally like 40 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
But anyway, a friend of mine says, "Hey, I've got an extra ticket. I don't know how I got the extra ticket." He said, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." So I think I'm probably going to end up going and palling around with him for a little bit and walk around talking to people. And if my wife will give me cash, I may come back with some cheap comics.
6, yes. Just leave a few copies of Silverline books just on each table you go past. So
Well,
forget.
probably what I will do. Oh, I don't have any in here. You've seen the little cards that we have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably take a stash of those and strategically kind of place those around.
Leave them around. That's what I would do.
We used to. I remember. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but we used to do guerrilla marketing. We go to the bathrooms and leave them on the stalls. You know, so guys got to come in and look at it every now and then.
Someone's seeing it.
So we never did that. I was really tempted to do stickers, taking a sticker in and put it on the wall. But I'm like, that's kind of, it's not destructive, but it's kind of destructive. And so I never did that. I just kind of would lay them on there so that, guys doing this business can look down and see the sticker or the card or whatever. And then somebody didn't have to come in and pull it off.
Yeah.
So, but it sure is tempting sometimes. Man, I could put stickers there.
Stick everywhere.
Yeah. So MegaCon is this week. Let's see. We do got a couple comments here. Bobby Weskovich says, "Hey, Big Dummy, going to share y'all on Facebook. What's up, Screw Loose? Thank you so much. Oh, look at this. Tommy said, he says, good to see you guys. Sorry I couldn't make it. You a papa yet, Mr. Pete?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. One more week.
Yep.
We reckon. Maybe sooner. We'll see.
So if not by next Sunday, absolutely by Sunday.
The 22nd,
right?
Sunday, 22nd, yeah.
Yeah. Did I say that right? Fortnight?
It's not 2 weeks, it's 1 week.
Yeah. I said if not next Sunday fortnight.
No. It's definitely next Sunday.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, if it's not this week, it's definitely next Sunday, 1 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
They told us they're not going to let us go over.
Okay. So it won't be Monday, right? It will be Sunday.
It will be Sunday, 1:30 p.m. We go in. When it arrives, hey.
Right. Yeah. So if not before.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
I might not be here Sunday. Sunday.
Yeah. I think I won't count on you for next Sunday.
Might not be here.
Tommy, we miss you, man.
If I am here, I'm streaming from somewhere that's not home.
Yeah, just take your phone.
Could
you can stream from the hey.
Could be noisy. Say hi.
Just trying to say hi.
Get that out of my face.
We're live.
Yeah.
Tommy says, "You sure that little Pete's running around?"
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun. be sure and soak up every minute. Take good notes. That way you can repeat it to her when it's all said and done. Like, you did this, you did that. You know?
You called me this.
Right, that's right. I'll tell you, I was there for the birth of both of mine, and so I had trouble one time. So my wife had a what do they call it when they kind of give them the pain blockers?
Epidural.
Epidural, thank you. Yeah, she had an epidural. And do you know what they do with those things?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Yeah, they stick them into their spine, right? So I knew, because we had talked about an epidural, so I kind of knew what it was. I just didn't know where it was. And so they got ready to. They said, "Okay, we're going to give your wife an epidural." Said, "We need you to lean way over." And so they said, you know, "Dad, can you get up here and stand?" And so she leaned right into me, right? So I could kind of hold her, and so I could, look down the curvature of her back. And I'm standing there, and then they go to poke that thing in her back, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't do this."
Yeah, that's not good. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, I had to. That was a moment. The nurse said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I really think I need to sit down."
Can I have a bed? Can I lie down?
So that was the only thing that really gave me considerable pause. Tommy says, "I'll be back soon. Love you guys." Well, we're thinking about you, Tommy. So that would be my warning to you, is if they go to give her an epidural, if you're at all squeamish about needles, and I am, just look away.
She said she didn't want any of that, but obviously if it gets very painful, I think they sort of suggest.
Yes.
So we'll see how she gets on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't have a high pain threshold, so we'll see.
Well, she does not, then she may be asking for it.
Mm.
But there is a point of no return where they're like, "No, it's too late. We can't give it to you at this point in time," So I don't remember what that is. I do remember them saying, "Hey, once you get so far, we can't give you the epidural," So yeah. It'll be fun.
Sure. Sure. I'll tell her that this is going to be fun. Good authority. This is going to be fun.
I know that you and I have already talked about. You guys watched The Midwife, the show.
Yeah.
And BJ and I were watching it the other day, and one of the moms was talking about the pain, and the nurse, I can't remember her name, Nurse Anderson. We really like Nurse Anderson and Cyril, right? Said something about the pain, and she said, "Yeah, but once you're holding that baby in your arms, you forget about all of the pain."
That's what I've heard.
And the weird thing is, of course, I didn't have any pain, but the weird thing is that BJ says it's true. She says it's just, she said, "Yeah, it hurts, and I remember it," but she says, once you hold the baby in your arms, she's like, you just forget about all of it,
All right.
I guess that's part of why they call it the miracle of life, I guess.
Sure.
All right, so let's catch up a little bit with Kickstarters. For those of you who are waiting on your Wolf Hunter and your Sirens, I have those in now.
Yeah, look at that.
And in fact, I have a good many of the packages boxed up and ready to go. They'll be leaving first thing in the morning when my mailman runs. Still got a few of them left to package up. I hope to finish those tomorrow and get those out on Tuesday. But the majority of them, I spent Friday and Saturday and a little bit of the day working on those. And so these should go out tomorrow for the most part. So good looking books, as you can see here. Just good looking stuff. Tim TK, who is our host on Tuesday night, and this is his first comic, and you guys are going to like this. And of course, Sirens is one of our remix books, colored by Barb. It looks fantastic. So these are coming out. And don't forget, then let me see if I can share this. we have a current Kickstarter, and you can see we are 3962. So that means we are, man, I can't do math. We
Creeping
are,
up.
yep, we are 1,000 and what was that 40? 1,040 away from goal. Last time I checked the numbers, we were 77% funded. I'm going to guess that's a little bit high. 4,000 would be 80%, wouldn't it? So that's probably about, probably a little bit higher than that, close to 80% funded. And we got 70. We got 7 days to go. 84 of you guys have helped us out, so thank you so much. I do want to point out though, I was looking yesterday, and there's still, for those of you who are fans of original art, there's still lots of original art left. So Aaron, here it is. Aaron has contributed every page of the Obsolete's first issue. Now, there are a couple pages are gone, and I haven't checked this today to see which pages may have been gone, but may also be gone. But if you guys want original art, this is a great way. There's all of these pages, interior pages for the Obsoletes. There's a few pages here from Cray with Stephen and Branch. Yep. This is I really like this page. This has always been one of my favorites. And then of course there's some of these covers are available. You can see there's the Beyond the Stars cover from Dean, as well as Aaron's covers. Barb's Ink's on that cover. So there's still a lot of good art. You can see a couple of them are gone. Tommy was really surprised this one went, and he hadn't even finished inking it yet. And yep. And I'm like, dude, that's just because they know what you're gonna bring to it. So yeah. So there's still some original art left. There's still some commissions left as well. Jose's got commissions left. Aaron's got commissions left. And where is Andrea? Andrea has some commissions left, but why is it not on the main page?
They're gone.
No.
Who's that's gone then?
That's Stephen Butler and Haley Martin. That's Haley Martin is gone.
Oh.
All of her commissions are gone. Stephen Butler commissions. Well, let's look at the updates then, so I can show you this. Here we go. This was supposed to be added onto that other page. I'm gonna have to talk to the people in charge of that. So Andrea, who is the artist for Beyond the Stars, has got commissions, and you can get commissions from him. Now these are digital commissions. Andrea lives in Italy. So all of his commissions are going to be digital, and they're also doing a drawn in. You can get drawn into Beyond the Stars. They're going to come up with a crowd scene in issue number 6. And if you always wanted to be in a comic book, this is your opportunity to be in a comic book. You can get drawn into the crowd scene. So yeah, if you're looking for ways to support the Kickstarter and want to do some cool extra things other than just the comics, get yourself drawn into one, get yourself some commissions, get yourself some original art, and get over there and back to Kickstarter if you can. If you can't back it, share it. Share it out to all your pals and say, hey, I know these people, they deliver. They are, as soon as this one is ships tomorrow, I am going to start saying that we are 17 for 17 as far as fulfillment goes on time. We actually had till someone asked me, I told them I really wish that I had done this about a week ago. But I didn't, and they're like, well, you're still good. Okay. Deninja Genko says, Roger that. And evening, Silverline Comics. Good evening. Hi. How are you? It's good to see you here. Thank you very much for joining us. It's just Pete and I tonight. So if you've got questions, ask us some art questions. We'll get on to our topic in just a minute though. So yeah, jump over to, I guess I was done. I guess we can get on to the topic. So our topic tonight is unlimited special effects budgets in comics.
Oh yeah.
Now, Now, here's one of the things I'm going to assume Pete's heard it, but one of the things that we used to always say in the 90s when I was, working full time in the biz is that we've got because I think part of it is because I was in California. So there was a lot of Hollywood people around us, and we would always hear them talking, oh, we can't do this because, it costs this much money to blow up a car, or I really want to do this, but, it requires a big fire or superpowers or things like that. And there was always the considerations of money, right? I mean, there's always considerations of money no matter what, but it was always, we can't afford to do those special effects. And one of the things that we always bragged about in comics is that we've got an unlimited special effects budget, right? Our Silverline look that Pete and
it all costs the same. Whatever you want to do, you're just drawing it. Yeah.
Yep. It all boils down to what
imagination.
Yep. Whatever I can come up with and toss at Pete, whatever Pete can draw.
Yeah, it's cool. It makes things a lot easier. Well, it makes things cheaper, certainly. You don't have to worry about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to draw it.
Yeah. Yeah. The Armada approaches.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 words, 3 days work.
Yeah. That's one of the things that that's certainly an industry joke. The writer writes, the Armada approaches, and then, as Pete says, the artist works for 3 days to bring that to life.
Spends 3 days and then someone will flick through it and just breeze over it.
That's why words on the page are important, right?
Flick. No words to read, flick.
No, you need those words. You need those words to get them to hold on that page and look at all that art.
That's the line.
So I'm one of these, though, that believes the writer's got to give you a little bit more than that. And I don't think the writer should over direct by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that one thing I hear frequently from artists and writers over the years is that whenever a writer has been unhappy, I've heard the artist say, well, they didn't tell me to do that. Yeah, they wanted me to draw that, but that wasn't in the script. They didn't tell me to do that. How is the artist going to know what you want them to draw if you don't include that? And I see you're
no, I was just thinking, or you could just do what I do and just draw what I want you to have, and then you just have to work with it. So push on this, we're just going to work with it. Yeah. Yeah, you are, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he reads my scripts. I think he just draws stuff and then I have to work it out.
Oh, I've been there, seen those, yeah. As an editor,
did he read?
Yeah, it's like, what is this? You go back and you look at the script and you're like, I don't know what this is. I read the script and I see the artwork and I'm like, I still don't know what it is.
I decided I was doing something else. We're going to do something else this month. This is too hard.
It's too hard.
It'd be much better if it was all set in space.
So I won't call him by name, but I worked with an artist once as his editor, and one of the things that I was talking to him about before we went on to a new project, I said, what do you want to draw? What kind of things you want to draw? He goes, I don't really care. He goes, I don't want to draw horses. And so I said, why don't you want to draw horses? He said, because I can't draw horses. He goes, my horses just end up looking like big, ugly dogs. So we made sure our project with him avoided horses.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
I think when I was asked once, what do you want to draw? I was like, it's easier for me to tell you what I don't want to draw. I don't want to draw Transformers.
So you wouldn't be super anxious to draw something like Iron Man either, then, right?
Yeah, I thought about it. His suit now has become less robotic and more like just this one metallic piece thing, which isn't too bad.
Closer to Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Transformers, it's just cars, and then they transform into bigger cars
with faces.
I love the Transformers, but man, I would not want to draw that. And their faces aren't faces; they're like they're more like I guess they are anime faces, aren't they?
Yeah.
They don't have real eyes. Yeah, no, I wouldn't enjoy that. They'd have to pay me an exorbitant amount of money for me to draw that.
Yeah. Well, and you would think, so who's doing Transformers now? Is that IDW?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think because Transformers is what it is, there'd be a lot of, well, there's a good example of an unlimited special effects budget, right? I mean, you think
Smash up all the cars you want.
yeah, I mean, you can destroy as many cars, you can transform as many cars to, diesel trucks and to big robots as much as you want. Put them on the moon. Isn't that where didn't one of them go to the moon and hang out there for a while?
I'm not sure about the films, but yeah.
I didn't even read the comics. Don't tell me.
No, I've not read the Transformers comics. I remember the cartoon that came out where Optimus Prime died.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Although I did work with one of the guys who he's over in your neck of the woods, Andrew Wildman.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he drew Transformers for a long time. I'm a fan of his art. I never read the Transformers.
Yeah. Soz for people who are enjoying or love Transformers, Sid.
Yeah.
Not the Transformers comic fan.
Well, so let's talk for a minute about what comics do we think couldn't be done if we had to take the special effects budget into consideration?
Oh, well, I mean, they've made the Avengers. I saw Doctor Strange this evening, oddly enough.
Yeah, I've seen it too. What'd you think?
No, it wasn't as. I thought it was going to be a lot darker than it was, more horror-y. But no, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. The bad guy wasn't the bad guy I was expecting.
Right. Same here.
Okay, they're going to stick with this the whole film.
I kept expecting a turn, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was cool. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot darker. But I guess it doesn't appeal to the kids. The kids can't go and see if it's too dark.
Well, my wife said she heard a lot of people saying that they thought it ought to be rated R, and I didn't see anything in it. I didn't see anything in it that would. I mean, some heads exploded, but they were. It wasn't gory, except for the one. It wasn't really gory. It was just kind of quick, and you didn't really see it.
There was that knockoff Avengers team. They died quite painfully, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Yes, especially one of them.
Yes.
One second. Yeah. But I particularly liked when that guy came in the yellow chair.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The music played when he came in. I was like, I know that music has come. I know where that's come from. That took me back. I was like, yeah, that's nice. That's a nice touch.
I didn't expect that at all. And that same scene, the guy who did most of the talking.
Yes.
I thought he was exceptional. Yeah. I'm like, I want to see more of that.
I think we probably will now.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
In there now. He's going to do that.
Yeah,
that was cool. It was cool.
Although I did think the one who was throwing the frisbee.
Oh yes.
I think should have had a different name. And I think that name should have been more representative of her island.
Yeah.
That's just me. I would have liked to have seen that. Of course, I'm a big fan of did you ever read The Invaders? It's a little
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the original. I think I've got the entire original run of The Invaders, so I would have liked to have seen some of that.
I just wonder if that name is tied up somewhere with.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
Other ownership structure. Someone else might own that name.
Yeah, I don't know. It would still be. I think it would have been cool if that's who that character would have been.
Yeah.
Instead, but it was still cool.
Right, but just they do those things with budgets, which is. That was all so much special effects. Yes. I guess if you took away the special effects budget, they couldn't do comic book films.
Certainly not comic book films. No.
Well,
Yeah.
not superhero films, perhaps. They could still do comic books. They just wouldn't be Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the big ones you know about, the blockbuster ones. It'll be more the indie detective stuff.
Yeah, they could
noir-y
probably
stuff.
still do something like Stranger Things. Well, I don't know if they could do Stranger Things either because it got special effecty. Lock and Key, they could probably do.
You could do the crime stuff. You might even get away with Batman, more of a detective Batman than superhero Batman.
Have you seen the new Batman?
No.
Oh, you went
No,
to
I haven't
see.
got just because she can't sit in the cinema, and I had to go on my own to see Doctor Strange this evening.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I was like,
So
oh,
she didn't
maybe
go
I'll
with you to see Doctor Strange?
She didn't know. She can't sit in the cinema because she
Oh,
can't get comfortable in the sit chair, and she
yeah.
keeps telling me, "Is it over yet? Is it over yet? Can we go now?" I'm going on my own. I'm going on my own to see Doctor Strange.
I enjoyed Batman a lot. I know there's a lot of people that I think Dean didn't like it at all. I enjoyed it a lot because it was, and I think Batman's been out enough that enough people have kind of heard about it, but it was very, very detective-y.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I think it's a perfect movie? No, not at all. But it's hard to find the perfect movie, right?
Well, Lord of the Rings, obviously exception.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about superheroes, for me anyway, it's hard to look at them. Even one of my favorites is the Avengers with Ultron because of the Vision. I'm a big Vision nut, and even as much as I love that film because I get to see Vision in it, I still, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So
no, yeah, well, there's no perfect. There's nothing perfect.
No,
I guess, but I'm just trying to think what if you took away the special effects budget, you couldn't really do superhero comic.
Yeah, and you couldn't do. I would argue that you couldn't do a lot of science fiction.
No, well, I saw the trailer for Avatar 2.
Yeah,
I've got zero interest. Zero. Don't get it. Don't understand what it's about. But it's all just.
It's pretty.
I was watching a trailer and it reminded me of that. There's like a series on Netflix, Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay.
And it's all short animations.
Okay.
And some of the animations on this show are insane. It's like watching real people.
Wow.
I was like, well, that's all Avatar is. It's just a long version.
Yes.
It's just special effects, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whilst they're very good, I just don't have any interest. No, I don't care about blue people. Why do I care about these blue people?
They're tall. I want to see them play basketball.
Yeah, there's some really tall ones. Some of them look more human than others. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when it came out, I wasn't interested. I'm still not interested. Yeah.
The Ninja says, "Love, Death, and Robots is awesome."
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a new series coming out as well.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I've even seen it pop up on my screen.
Each series is like 15 short animations, but varying different animation styles. They go from the super hyper realist to the more cartoony.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's astounding. From how they do that point of view, it's astounding. Some of them. I remember watching one of them thinking, are they real people with special effects backgrounds? Or not, I don't know. But
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what Avatar is. Avatar's very impressive to look at.
Yeah,
just don't find it interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's been 10 years or more since the first one.
Yeah,
I guess
a long time.
Yeah, when was the first one? It was maybe more than 10 years because I don't think I was here.
He's been digging up the Titanic, hasn't he? So he's been busy. I'm just looking across my bookshelves and seeing what books I've got here that could be
2009.
I thought it was over 10 years.
Yeah. So yeah, you're talking what, 20, 19, 10, 20. So 20 to 1 to 2. So 13 years, 14 years. Yeah. I was gonna say it was before I moved to Florida, so
Yeah. So what it comes down to is we don't need a budget. Although I wouldn't mind a special effects budget.
Well, so
paid. I have to do.
Really,
got to draw
right?
a fleet of spaceships. That's going to cost, isn't it? I said, yeah, that's going to cost a lot of money. Would you not prefer just to have a close up of someone?
So, how many fire engines do you want rolling? Yeah, that's going to cost you.
We've got a very small budget. We just need close ups. Okay.
Yeah, you can have one fire engine and no more.
Yeah. I've got halfway down the page, but you run out of money. I can't draw the rest of the page. I can't afford what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if that were the case, right?
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah. That would be, I think. So one of the things, Tommy and I talk about, Tommy and I talk about a lot of different things, right? One of the things we talk about is that part of the reason we think that like you, him, and Roberta work so well together is, we hang out on Sundays, and there's that constant communication, and so when there's something that you want, Tommy can make it happen, or maybe if it's not something he can do, then he'll pass that on to Roberta to have her do it in the colors. And a lot of it is because, Roberta does all the coloring digitally. So she can go in and add. I know the recently thing he did was the Beyond the Stars cover that I think Steven did. Yeah. And there was some stuff going on with the stars. And he said, I don't want to do this. He said, because I can do it. And then they're just going to go in and undo it anyway. He said, so I'm just going to say, hey, I think Mickey colored it. Mickey, here's what I want in the background, and go do this. And then Mickey was able to come in and add that special effect. Right.
Yeah. I've seen Mickey did that with mine, with the Kalis cover as well. So I just sort of drew the planet Earth. He just went in and just like did his thing, and it looked much better. I was like, should have just left it empty. I can't leave empty spaces. I can't leave empty spaces on the page. Should just left it empty. Just put planet Earth here.
So that's one of the things. So you said when you say you can't leave it empty. So I guess there's a question for you. So you can't leave it empty because the artist in you is like, yeah, I need to fill that in, or you can't leave it empty because you're not thinking about someone down the assembly line finishing that.
No, I don't leave it for someone else to do. I finish it, so I know it's done.
Okay.
Because you don't know, the next person might not do anything with it much. So, he's left that blank. I'll leave it blank. It should be. I think for you that when I pass it off.
Well, I kind of look at those things a little bit like the X's, right? Yeah. So when you draw
X's are fine. Everyone understands what X's are. Inkers understand what X's are. That's okay. But to say, just like to draw, if I want the planet Earth, I'll draw the planet Earth because I don't want you to think that's the moon or something else.
But you don't think it would be okay for you to drop in planet Earth?
No, I don't think I could do that. No, I don't think I could do that. I mean, that's what he did anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would be comfortable just finishing it and going.
And I've seen artists do things like that, right?
Yeah, I've seen it as well. I've seen big pros do that as well. Just write some in the margins. Yeah. Doing for the colorist. Yeah. I should play with doing that. Maybe save myself some time.
Well, and I think that's really
just turn over an empty page to Tommy. Tommy, this is what I thought. Good luck. I might do that this year. I've got a few more pages left of Silverline Team Up. I might just give him a blank one. Knock yourself out.
Here's what I had in this mind. Hey, listen,
this out, but you do it.
I have seen a page that had a 6-panel page. 3 of them were blank, and they on the had notes in them. It said stat of like panel 3, page 2, stat of panel 3, page 4. Right?
Getting his money's worth there. Paid twice for one page.
So I've seen them. I've seen it. They've come through my hands, and I'm just like, what the heck, But I guess if you're looking at it from, okay, I'm just going to draw this exact same thing all over again.
Yeah.
why not? But I know that for some like yourself, it's like I got to put something there, right? I can't just tell you to make a photocopy, drop it in.
I'm going to try it. I'll try it where possible. I'll try it.
Leave Tommy know. Is Tommy still listening? He's going to be looking for it, right?
I want 5 men fighting here.
In this panel.
In this small panel. Leave room for speech. Thanks.
Well, so one of the things that I think, one of the things I have always personally loved, the special effects that comics can do are the color holds, right? And if Roberta were here, she could probably verify some of this. But I used to, and I don't know, I assume they were harder to do back in the 90s, just because everything was physical and scanned and all that kind of stuff. I think it's cool if they're inking digitally, you can tell them what they want, and then they can do it on layers. You know. And that saves the colorist time. So sometimes I'll tell Tommy, "Hey man, here's one of the things I'd like to do with this." And say, "Yeah, cool. I'll just do it on another layer." And that's I mean, I don't know how easy it is, but he makes it sound like all I got to do is push a little button, and then
button.
Yep. And and there you go. So for one example, for instance, I'll put this back. Like this image right here, right? This big image of Cray. Sometimes I'll say, "Hey, do Cray, right? The figure on one layer, and then all the background on another layer, right? That way, if we ever want to use this figure for something else, we don't have to go in and crop all. Yeah, we don't have to go on and crop all the background out, right? I think that's where the digital stuff comes in handy. Because then you can go in and do stuff like that, and you don't have to worry about spending all that time cropping the artwork out.
Yeah, I've been doing more digital work recently, doing quite a lot, just because I have been so busy and had little time. I've found it quicker just to finish things up digitally.
Yeah, and it's easier to take that around with you, isn't it?
Yeah, the iPad comes with me everywhere now.
Yeah,
so that's handy.
Do you still, when you're doing digital, do you still sit at your art table?
I try to, just because there's so many distractions everywhere else.
Yeah.
If I'm at school, then I've got my iPad. I just go and sit in the staff room and at break and lunch, and I'll draw there. If I get home, I might come up here and have some peace and quiet and do some stuff.
At least for another week.
Well, I'm assuming I get 2 weeks off, so I'm going to get loads done. I did pencil to the last Trump, the last Trumps. I did 2 pages. I penciled digitally, just because I was like, right, got to get these done. And my roughs were super tight. I was like, I can just turn this into pencil real quick. Didn't enjoy it.
So you much prefer the pencil lead on the paper?
I would turn, if I was doing it digitally, I would just turn those roughs. I'd just go straight to inks digitally and do it ink. But if to do it, I don't enjoy penciling on the computer.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
I wouldn't think it would be the same.
I think you probably, if you look at all those pages next to each other, you could probably tell which 2 are penciled.
Really?
Digitally, yeah.
I'll have to do that. I'll take the challenge when.
It'll be easy.
Yeah. I know that Tommy offered me the challenge one time about inking. He said, "Which one of these did I do digitally?" He goes, "I did one." I laid like 5 pages out. He says, "I did one of these digitally. Everything else was done traditional," and I couldn't pick it out. And
some of them's really impressive.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have this. They use the same brushes and special effects sort of stuff. So you can tell. I don't like doing all that stuff. I'll use Zip or whatever they call it on the studio.
Like Zipatone?
Yeah, you can add that effect in, which I think was quite cool. But sometimes if I've inked a page traditionally, I can scan it in and add it afterwards if I need to.
Yeah. Oh, I love Zipatone. I actually found because I used to have it because one of the things I did when long time ago, when Stephen Butler was my roommate, I would help him out a lot. He would just say, "Here, do this here," I was kind of a sometimes assistant, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't unusual. He'd hand me a pen and he'd say, I need cross hatching all in this area right here, right? And of course, most of what we do is black and white books. So I'm just sitting there cross hatching. And I know there was one time he said, do that panel. I'm like, the whole panel? And I'm like, you want me to do the face too? Right? He said, yeah, just do it. No one will know. And I'm like, yeah, they will. So he went in and did a couple of real quick marks and like on the face and head. And he said, now you can finish the rest of it. But zip. And I had this big container of zips, and I found it during one of my just like a year ago. And I reached out to Tommy. I said, dude, I've got like 50 pages of Zipatone here. You want it? He goes, yeah, give it to me. So I gave Tommy all kind of zips, and I said something to him the other day. I said, I haven't really been seeing any zips on your page.
It's difficult to get zip now as well.
Yeah, it is.
It's expensive. That's why you can do it on a computer.
Yeah,
like you don't have that budget. You don't have the budget problem. You just do it on a computer.
Yeah. Well, and there's something, I guess you could say, quite a special effects budget, but I mean, if you're doing it digitally, it's pretty easy to just drop that in.
Yeah, you just put things in. Yeah.
You have to make the patterns, though, don't you? You don't have to make them.
You can change the patterns.
Okay.
But you don't make them. I mean, I guess you probably could go in and make your own one, but there's so many on there. I don't see why you would do that.
Because I know that the zips with the dots.
And they
had the different sizes.
Look what options we've got.
Yeah. Can you share a screen?
You can adjust the
you're not set up.
frequency, so lots of them or few of them.
Okay, yeah.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24 different shapes I could have.
Wow.
Ninja Star.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen those. Those are a little bit goofy.
Lozenge. Yeah, but usually I just have circle.
Yeah. Well, and I remember the circles came in sizes. So if you wanted, or maybe size may be the wrong number, but you could get like 80% and it was darker. So they were like closer together, I guess.
You can do it. That's what I say. You can adjust the frequency so they're closer together or further apart.
Yeah. And that kind of makes them either lighter or darker, right? Yeah. Because I remember the zip pages had it up at the top of the page. It would 80%, 20% kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing. Yeah. I don't play around with it too much. I just click one, select what I want to do, put it on a different layer, and it's done.
What about? Can you do the cross hatching? Because I remember when Steven would have me cross hatch, he would have me go this direction, and then he would say, "Okay, so now that you've done that direction, turn around and then go this direction." Because you're making little tic-tac-toe signs, essentially.
I wish I could share my screen with you. I could show you things I could do. I've got like effect brushes things. One of them's called hatching, and that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 10 different. So you don't have much control over it, but it rotates around sort of. There's one called sand, soft sand. Like gauze. You see gauze and friction all the time. Like, oh god, I see that everywhere. But yeah, I don't use the hatching ones a great deal because they're very mechanical. They don't. I think you can tell the computer.
So when we talk about these unlimited special effects here, so I mean, obviously, a lot of that falls onto the art team, of course. Starts with the penciler. What things can you think of that when you see in a script, you go, "Oh man, not that." Aside from fire engines, what if you see something in the script? What makes you go, "Oh, not that. I don't want to have to do that." And I'm not talking about stuff, not things that you don't, not a transformer, right? But maybe an effect or something. I mean, clearly you want to draw people flying.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that would be a special effect, but you want to draw that.
Just trying to think. Fire has always been a pain because there's no logic to it. It just goes everywhere. And a fire is one of those things that's predominantly done by the colorist. I can put in where it's going to go, but I can't. If you end up trying to draw the orange bit and the red bit and the yellow bit, it's like a child's drawing. So yeah, I've learned less is a lot better with fire.
Well, so I have to ask this question: Does this opinion come pre Silverline team up number one?
No. I'd realised this before, so it's easier to do less, and the colorist can go in with the black lines and go over the black lines, and it's not. It doesn't
look
like
fiery.
A child's colouring book. Yeah. It's just also it also creates the problem of light source. There's no the light's everywhere.
Right.
So where do I put the shadows? And maybe I don't put any shadows
because there's fire everywhere.
Because there's fire everywhere.
Yeah.
In that scene, anyway. But lightning. No. I'm trying to think.
Wait, so you don't like drawing lightning?
Well, lightning. Oh well. Lightning's another one where penciling lightning is it's easy to do in the inks, I think. I can just put a black background down and just do lots of white. Just go there, lightning. But penciling, I think penciling is a little bit more difficult.
What about like a power blast? You know, like a.
I was thinking of gunshots because, or spray of gunshots. Like bang, 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 bang. Try to do that. Try to make them. I think I was recently Googling gunshot or SFX, trying to see what that explosion is at the muzzle. But there was nothing good anyway. Nothing.
You have to go to YouTube.
That doesn't look like comics. That's not the comics. That's not the stuff I've seen in comics, and I trust them.
Yeah. Willie Pepper says, "Where is everybody?"
Otherwise
engaged. Pete, who else do you want?
Exactly. So for the cover I recently finished were obsolete. So it had the guy with he had these guns on his wrists.
Right.
I hope they were guns because that's what I've drawn. And they were just what they called. They just go round and just shoot.
Like a revolver.
Whatever, they're automatic, just going around.
Yeah, cylinder. Yeah, I'm just guessing now.
Anyway, so I just figured, well, actually, with all those different things going off, I'd penciled in, roughed in all this figure and arms and stuff. I thought, I'm not going to draw any of that because all the gun flash is a waste of my time. What a waste of time. But yeah, I just ended up doing gun flash.
Yeah,
thought, oh, well, that's it. And because all the light, I thought there's no shadows on the bottom because all the light.
So there are some great YouTube videos, Pete, on YouTube, obviously, with slow-mo guns. You can see them fire, and you can see a slow-mo. They track. I think they're tracking the bullet and looking at the rotation and say. But they're really cool videos because you get to watch the whole thing. And
I didn't think I could look at the Matrix as well. Didn't you?
Oh yeah. Willie Pepper says he loves your cap.
Thank you very much. I just pencil.
Yeah, we're gonna get Willie to do something for us.
Cool.
Yeah, Willie. We talked about it. I can't remember if it was last week. Maybe in the last. Yeah, it had to have been last week when you weren't here. Willie drew a 4-page cat and mouse thing way back in the day, and it was printed in Malibu Sun, which is so hard to find. You just can't see that. You can't find that now. So so he's got his pencil sharp and he's ready to go. So
cool.
So yeah. We're going
I think
to
everyone's
get.
gone cat and mouse now. Even I was just reminding me that the Christmas 21, I sold out of those at the convention.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's
Oh,
like, I was like, I can't sell this next year, so do you want it? Like, yeah, like that.
Wait, does it say Christmas 21 on it?
Yeah,
Or,
it does.
it sure
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that about that, Pete, I think I mentioned it in the team group, but something that's something that I've been thinking is that all those stories were 6 pages, right? So we can take once we make the leap to Diamond, we can take those and put 4 of those, put them into a comic, and release those as Christmas special for 22 and then 23, and each of them have stories in it. We've got 3 years worth of Christmas stories there.
Oh, excellent. I was sitting there thinking, I can't sell this next year. So anyone? No, they went down really well actually.
Yeah.
They were getting a lot for the money, so that they disappeared.
Yeah. I've had really good feedback on that from folks who got it, and that's one of those that I look at and say, I think I told you guys when we first started off, I don't have one here. I really wanted to do one of those giant treasury editions, but after pricing them out, and I'm like, yeah, while it would be cool, we just couldn't afford to get it for what we were doing, and so maybe someday down the road I would still. Just giant treasure editions are cool. The problem comes in is like, where do retailers put it? They don't have a place to stock it. Where do fans put them? They don't fit in the boxes like these. So there's a lot of problems.
You have to do some hardbacks though.
Yeah. I would like to do that.
And they're all finished. Do a hardback cover.
Oh, look at that. Willie says, I've been stockpiling art supplies and doing nothing with it. It's killing me. Well, just stay alive. We'll get something for you here. But yeah, I was really happy with the way that turned out. I think that ended up being a really good looking book. We had so many different Silverliners contribute to that thing.
So that's good. Really, that's a good example of your special effects budget. For all these different stories, they all cost exactly the same.
Yeah, you're right. Whether it's a couple of characters on a roof with
Flottimontes.
Flottimontes, yeah.
Didn't have to pay for that. Didn't have to pay for that rights.
With just sweatshirts and ski mask, or whether it's spaceships flying through the air, it's all exactly the same. Yep. Yeah.
I think that's why that some screenwriters think, well, what I'll do first is make a comic of my script, and then I'll shop that around to the movie studios. It's a lot cheaper to make the comic than it is to make the film. And if they can see it, oh, that looks good. Then we get Lovell to have to draw it.
Yes.
And adapt a film script.
Yeah.
I've had that. I had that when I was at school. Someone approached me and said, "Oh, would you want to draw a script?" And you're like, "Of course." You say yes because
of course, yeah.
You're poor and you're in school. And they just
yes is always the first answer.
Yeah, they just send me through their film script. So here you go. Here's the film. I was like, right, scene 1. We open on, and they're like, okay, I've got to turn this into a page somehow. I don't know where the page ends, but let's say I'm going to do 6 panels. I had to try and never again.
Oh wait, so you did it?
No. I mean, okay. I did. There was another thing. So I did a couple of pages, and they even specified in the script what actors and actresses they would ideally like to play the characters.
Okay.
Fair enough. Get them to look like those actors.
Sure.
Oh. Sure. I'll give it a crack. They came out, I preferred her in this part where she had dark curly hair.
From this movie.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I went in digitally and redid the head on the character. And then I think after about 3 pages, they came back and said, "Oh, actually, our film tutor, said we need to make adjustments to our script. So we'll come back to you when we've done that." They paid me for the 3 pages, but they never came back.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Don't
I know
send
what,
comic artists your film script. Send them a comic book script.
right. I was going to say, I know what a film script looks like, and I can imagine having to take that and trying to turn that into art pages.
But you're sort of, as the pencil, you are the sort of director. And actor anyway.
Yeah.
Like co-director, actor.
Sure you are.
And cameraman and lighting.
But the problem with a film script is it, and when I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, this is something we talk about in my class a lot. The problem with a film script is it's written with the intentions that there's movement.
Yes.
Now we do comics with the intention that there is implied movement, right? Not that there's actual movement, is that there's implied movement. And certainly we have, the gutters that suggest character has done this. There's a gutter here, what you missed, and now this is what they're doing. But that's not the case in a film script. Is that they have the movement,
and they don't have to worry about space for speech bubbles.
Right? Yeah,
they don't can talk and talk and talk. And like, wow. I think I drew them thinking, well, when they get to this, they're going to have to cut this all out. So I'm going to draw it. They'll have to tackle the lettering bit. Like, oh, we can't fit all. No, you can't fit all his monologue in one panel, I'm afraid. Yeah. So you'll have to work that one out yourselves.
You have to trim the dialogue down to the bare essentials. What do they really need to say here?
Take his 2-page monologue into 6 words.
The Armada approaches.
Yeah. Oh no, the Armada approaches. That was basically all he was saying.
Yeah.
I do take it as a compliment when writers say, "Oh, I'm able to cut these. I don't need to put all these words in because you've sort of done it with the story." I said, "Well, good. That's my job." So
yeah,
fewer words needed.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the things they certainly tell you guys at the Cuber School is that you want to tell the story with visuals. You want a reader to be able. You want a viewer, a looker, a viewer, a reader, whatever you want to call them, to look at your pages without any dialogue and know what's going on. Now, clearly, without dialogue, they don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're thinking, right? They don't know those things, but they need to be able to look at the pages and tell what's going on. They shouldn't look at the pages and go, "I have no clue what's happening here," right?
There was a guy asked a question on Twitter today, and he said, "Do you read comics? Or what do you pick up comics for the art or for the story?" And
yes.
So I said, "Well, first and foremost, I look at the art because it doesn't matter how good the story is. If the art's bad, you're not going to understand what the story is. Don't forget, comics are a visual thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick up the art, and if the story's good, I'll stick with it. Doesn't matter how good the story. If the story's rubbish, then the art's just the art can be nice, but it's not. You're not going to enjoy it. But first and foremost, look at the art."
I would have to agree because I would say this. I would say good art can save a bad story, or at least make it not as painful.
Yeah.
Good story can't necessarily save bad art.
No. If it's bad, you don't know what's going on.
It might be a brilliant story, but if the art's bad, you can't get past it. I would say. Willie says, "I had to write a movie script years ago. Interesting, but I wouldn't say fun." They're very different. Obviously, because of the university where I teach, I see a lot of those and deal with a lot of that. They're very, very, very different to do. And I guess just because for me, years and years and years, my brain thinks in comic book form. It doesn't think
mine does as well. Yeah.
And so I don't think in moving pictures. I think in panels. But it's very different.
I'm trying to write my own thing at the moment for my character, the Witchfinder, and I thought, well, I'll start off. I'm just gonna write like a prose, sum up the whole story, basically.
Yeah.
I do tend to stop myself saying, "In this panel, I want
right,
this to happen."
right."
Just write it as if it's a badly written story. Just write it as a badly written story. and then I go in from there, and I can break it into this is one page, and this is another page, and yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I'm a big believer in that, particularly with comics where you have a limited, like, I need to fit this into these pages.
Yeah.
You need to start with the summary, right? You need here's a summary of the story that I intend to tell, right? So you know that here's my summary. I got to get this story in these number of pages. The problem, if you don't do that, you start writing, and I would assume a writer artist is going to do the same thing. You start writing, and suddenly you get to page 10, and you're like, I believe this is only the first paragraph of my summary, right? And or this is only the first paragraph of what I intend to tell, and then you find that your 22-page story has turned into 50 pages, which is why
you got to have some action in every issue. It can't just be, as a prose might have 20 pages of characters talking.
Yeah,
you can't get away with that. You got to squeeze some action in there. Where's the action going to come from?
Yeah,
I'm enjoying doing it. The characters are talking back and forth, and I'm thinking, bet none of this makes it in. I haven't got room for all this conversation.
Well,
this conversation is riveting to read.
You do, though. It's just that you have to get it in there during the action, right? Yeah. And so there's things like, you think of the X-Men, right? People think about the X-Men and love the X-Men and their characters and the interactions between them, but they go to they don't sit around drinking coffee, or at least they didn't when I was reading them, right? They go to the Danger Room, and you get to see them using their powers. You get to see them personally interacting with one another. So you understand the interpersonal relationships, right? But it's the Danger Room. So they're not fighting a villain, but you see their powers, you understand their powers, and it's action, right? So it's not them just sitting around drinking coffee, because who wants to see that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Here's a good question. Willie says, do you work best from a full script breakdown or an outline?
Oh, we've answered these questions. I don't think I prefer one over the other. I'm used to the Marvel method. It gives you a little bit more freedom as an artist. As we've mentioned before, it just gets you can come up with a bit more input, whereas the full breakdown is, as a new artist or a younger artist, if you're new, then you might prefer that, because you don't have to worry too much. It's like the writer's told you what he wants drawn. He told you it's going to be this many panels on the page, and then this panel, this happens, and you just have to make room for speech and draw what he wants, which is nice sometimes, not having to think as much. Yeah.
Well, do you know who Rick Hoberg is? Rick did a lot of comics in the 70s, 80s, maybe just the 80s. But when the industry crashed, he jumped to animation. He did a lot of comics. So I had a conversation with him one time, and he worked with Steve Englehart when I was his editor, and Steve did everything Marvel style. And Rick and I were talking, and he said, I don't like working Marvel style. I said, of course, he had done 30 books with Steve. And I'm like, really? That's a huge surprise to me. And I said, why didn't you say anything? He goes, well, I got to work with Steve Englehart. So, it was a lot of fun, and we were having fun. I said, so why don't you like it? He goes, because I have to think.
Yeah.
And he said, and I said, yeah. He goes, there are sometimes, he goes, in working with Steve, he's like, I just want to, just tell me what you want. Just tell me what you want. Panel 1, this is what I'll draw it. He goes, but when it's a page by page plot, Marvel style, right? It's like, I got to think, I got to design the page in my head. And
it does take longer.
Yeah. Like, I can see that, but I will tell you, for me, from a writer's perspective, I've done both. Probably, in my career, not half and half, but maybe 60-40, 60% Marvel style, 40% full scripts. My experience has been, I think I get a better looking book when I do it Marvel style. Because as much as I like to tell myself I am brilliant when it comes to visuals and in my mind, right? I still do, page 1, panel 1. This is what happens. Panel 2, this is what happens. And while I'm okay to do that, I'm comfortable to do it. in my experience, the artist 99% of the time is going to give me a better looking page if I just say, hey, this is what happens on the page.
Yeah.
If you want to do it in 4 panels or if you want to do it in 14 panels, that's up to you. But it almost always comes back better, in my opinion. Visually better, you know. I wanted to circle back to something that you had said. Willie says, I'm pretty comfortable with both. Yeah, Willie, I think I can't remember. I think you and I worked that 4-pager. I want to say that was probably a page-by-page plot. I have to dig around and see if I've still got that. I don't remember for certain. I have a tendency to write the shorter things full script.
I think they. I was just thinking that. I think they might work better as full script because there's less room.
Yes.
So you need things.
So I think the cat and mouse thing we did for the Christmas thing was full script, wasn't it?
Can't remember.
I can't remember either. I don't remember for sure. But my tendency is if it's shorter, I'll write a full script.
That works.
Yeah. And then if it's longer, then I prefer the page-by-page plot. Well, you said something about action. And so one of the things I try to do, and you know, I'm not always successful, but one of the things I try to do in a page-by-page plot is I look at it and say, well, I've got 22 pages here. Okay. Artist is going to draw 22 pages. I need to make sure that 11 of those has action.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean like 1 through 11 and then 12 through 22. You know, I mean, I need to try to make sure that there's a healthy mix of action and slow moments, slow scenes, and not just for the artist. While a lot of that for me is a consideration for the artist, was I want you to have fun. I want you to finish drawing one of the comics and say that was fun, you know. But for the reader too, you know, you want the reader to kind of have that roller coaster of emotions to pull them through. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why it's the same thing that they do films, isn't it? That how films are entertaining. It's up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
It peaks at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good ones. Yeah. They can toy with your emotions that way, right? Make you know, happy, angry, sad, you know.
You don't want to sit there and get bored, do you know?
Yeah.
No reason to go.
Yeah. Have you seen Moon Knight?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you like it? See, the two, you could lose those 2 middle episodes as far as I'm concerned. The psychology ones.
Oh yeah, was that when he was in the hospital?
Yes. Yeah.
That confused me a bit.
It confused me. I didn't know what's going on, and it was just like, and it was way too long. Way too long.
Only 6 episodes.
What's that?
Only 6 episodes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But that scene, that section, that part of the story was way too long. I thought the same thing about WandaVision. I liked WandaVision.
I enjoyed that because it was quirky.
Yeah. But I didn't need the TV shows to go on for 3 episodes. The first episode, I'm like, this is really cool. I like what they're doing. This, you know, it's like Bewitched, not Bewitched.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, Bewitched. You know, it's old TV episodes. Yeah, this is kind of cool. And then they did it again. I'm like, all right. And then they did it again. I'm like, okay, that's enough. I get it. It's not interesting anymore. They just went on too long, you know. Phil Leon says, "What's up, Silverline crew? What's up, Mr. Phil Leon?" Yeah. So, but you know, that's I think that's one of those things where you have to have that balance. I'm not sure either of those shows did. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier perfectly balanced, right? I think that was a have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that one was a very good mix of you know, action and some slow scenes mix up. You know, it sped it up, slowed it down.
Like buddy cop film thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Easier template. Whereas the others tried to do something a bit different, I think.
Yeah. And I'm okay with different. I don't mind different. The other thing I didn't like about Moon Knight was we out of 6 episodes, we saw him in costume about 20 minutes total.
He wasn't in costume a great deal until the last episode, really. Even the last episode, he wasn't a great deal. Maybe the last 2 episodes, he was a little bit. Yeah. I noticed that as well.
Yeah. I know, I watch Moon Knight. I want to see Moon Knight. They should have titled the show Mark Spector, right?
It wasn't. It was Stephen, wasn't it? Stephen. So I enjoyed the first episode. I enjoyed that flicking of them back and forth, where Stephen and then suddenly he come round and all these dead people are around him. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
By episode 3, I was like, I just want to see Mark Spector now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I liked Stephen by the end. I really liked him, but for a while there, I was like, I'm not interested in Stephen. I just want to see the Moon Knight.
Yeah. Well, that was it. I didn't dislike Stephen. But I wanted to see Moon Knight. It's like, let me see. I'm watching the show because it's called Moon Knight. Let me see Moon Knight.
And they're not going to do a second season, are they?
I'm not real sure.
I've heard they're not doing. That was it. They're not doing.
Oh, really? I would assume that they
set stuff up for one.
Yeah, they did set us up for one.
Yeah. They do. Man.
Although I thought, and I don't know the character's name, his girlfriend.
Yes.
She was awesome right there at the end. I'm like, why didn't we see more of her? I would have liked to see more of that too.
Well, he did. I assume that all of them could do something, but
all of the Egyptian gods.
Yeah. But he saw Moon Knight really.
Yeah. Phil said I was okay with him going from decade to decade of TV show styles. It was fun. I was okay with it. I just thought it took too long. I thought it was I thought it was a pretty clever idea, and I thought it was something different, but I didn't need 3 episodes of that devoted to it. Willie said she should get her own show, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Moon Knight woman. I can't remember her name. What was her name? Scarab? Scarlet Scarab? Was that who that was?
Moon Knight's girlfriend.
Moon Knight's girlfriend, yeah.
Moon Knight's wife, sorry.
Yeah. No, her costume was awesome, and she was an interesting character. I liked her. Willie says it's Kayla.
Sure.
That's not an interesting superhero name, but okay.
Might be her real name. I don't know what her hero name was.
Yeah, I don't know what her hero name was. I don't know what her Egyptian god was. But yeah. And then he had that, the power that's not his power at all in the comics.
What's that one?
Flight. He takes off.
Oh, he did fly. That's right.
We're sitting there watching it, right? And he jumps, right? Like he's about to fly. And I'm like, what? He's not flying. And my wife said, looks like he's flying to me. And I'm like,
he has a moon ship. He flies in that.
Yeah, it's like he can't fly.
The eyebrows rose. That was like,
yeah. Scarlet Scarab. Yeah, I was right. So yeah, she was in the comic. It's been a long time since I read Moon Knight, but I really liked the first run of it. They didn't cancel the Moon Knight series yet. They haven't announced a new series pickup yet. So, all right. So it was a 1-season thing, and we don't know yet whether we're going to get season 2 or not. So
I don't think they're doing season 2s of the others. You see, so definitely not going to be another WandaVision.
No.
I guess there may be a new Falcon and Soldier, but nothing I've heard of.
Yeah, no, me either.
Just where the films go.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly there's not. If you've seen Doctor Strange, there's not going to be another WandaVision.
Yeah.
Willie says it wasn't supposed to be an ongoing series. Okay. I kind of like the idea of them doing these limited series, right? It's just like they would do in the comic books. You get a mini series, right? I kind of like the idea of them doing that, giving us something new and something different. Like you do in the comic books, you can see what sticks and what doesn't. They can also, see what part of, what they're doing works.
They're introducing new characters in the films all the time, so they just do spin-offs of them constantly. They have no shortage of characters anyway. But
Did you know who the character was they introduced in the Doctor Strange? Did
Yes.
you know who that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, when I saw that character, I was like, "Oh, cool, look!" I was pretty excited about that.
I mean, I've read comics. I've never been too familiar with her backstory or where she came from.
Yeah,
the comics. I know who she is. I know what she does.
Well, I wasn't aware she was Mrs. I was not aware of that, so I missed that. And I was very aware of the character, but I was not aware she was a Mrs.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, in that scene, she referred to herself as that, I think.
Oh.
Did she? Or maybe my son wikied it. I think my son might have wikied it. Willie says, I think all the Marvel series were one-shots, except for Loki. Oh, they're going to do a second.
I hope so. I really did enjoy Loki. Tom Hiddleston's great.
Yeah, he's fun. I would like to see it.
Kane's the next big bad guy in the films, isn't he? So
who is Kane? Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, one of the things that I'm curious what they're going to do. Speaking of the Marvel films, what are they going to do with Kane? Because when I imagine Kane, I imagine him fighting Thor and Iron Man and Captain America and Vision, the classic Avengers, right? Even the Fantastic Four, I guess. But with all these actors calling it quits,
yes, so
tricky. Yeah. Now I realize that I hold a contrary opinion to many, but I say just replace the actors and keep the characters going, right?
Yeah, you do. And there's obviously an attachment first of all, but
yep,
it works. Other things just
sure. I mean, look at James Bond. You're a Doctor Who fan. Look at Doctor Who. It can work. Don't get me wrong. I really like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, right? I really like Captain America. Chris Evans. Yes, he started to give his real secret identity name. Yeah. Steve Rogers.
I'd be no good, would I? You mean Steve Rogers? Oh no, wait. I didn't say that.
I think he's a excellent Steve Rogers Captain America. But I think the character is more important than the actor. And I would love to see them just replace the actors if they're done. And I get it. End credit scene said there was a Loki season 2. Oh, okay.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. I know a lot of the Marvel movies will say, like Doctor Strange will be back in whatever, because the end of the Doctor Strange movie said that as well.
Yeah.
Did you stay all the way to the very end?
Yeah. I love Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. So we've strayed a little bit from unlimited special effects budget.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay. You have any other thoughts on unlimited special effects budgets for comics?
I mean, it's true, but if you're a writer, don't forget that I have to draw it, or someone has to draw it at some point.
Yeah.
So try and, I guess, when you whatever it may be, have a point to it, or at least have something in there that's the focus. So like you say, space fleet emerges or space fleet arrives on the horizon. What's my focus? What am I supposed to? Am I just drawing 1,000 million ships, or is there one in particular that's important?
Yeah.
Do they have a certain look, or what? Yeah.
Sometimes I think that in a case like that, and of course it would depend on the story, but I think if you're the writer and you're going to call for 1,000 spaceships, there needs to be a reason that there's 1,000 spaceships. If you're trying to communicate, okay, look, there's so many spaceships here, this one spaceship is outnumbered, right? Yeah. So do we need 1,000, or do we need to know that there's 1,000 spaceships about to attack this planet, right? It has to have a purpose, and that purpose should be a story purpose, right?
Yeah.
Not just because it's going to look cool. Although looking cool can be cool too sometimes too. But what's that?
That's what I go for. It's the backbone of what I do. Just make it so it looks cool. People forgive everything if it looks cool.
Yeah. Well, isn't that kind of the Todd McFarlane philosophy of comics?
I assume so. Must be. Just make it look cool. People
I
buy
think
it.
I think I've heard him say that on more than one occasion. It needs to look cool.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It needs to look like comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not-
And I think for me, I think sort of the summary would be when you write, if you're a writer, when you write, do keep in mind that you do have an unlimited special effects budget. That don't limit yourself to thinking of. And here's a problem I have a lot of times because I read some and I think, oh, they've written this as their TV pilot.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Yeah, and it's like, I just write your comic book,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, don't. Yeah, I know that if you're going to write a TV show, and you're considering budget, they want limited locations, right? So you can only shoot here, maybe shoot there, right? A couple of locations. They want a limited number of actors, right? All of which certainly can be smart, but you got to remember you don't have those same limitations in comics. Is that you don't have to keep it to one location. Yeah. You can have your characters move and move and move and move, right? And if you want to blow up a parking garage, you can, right? But as you said, you've got to keep the artist in mind. What are you asking them to draw? Wow. Willie said, I did a 2-page spread once and actually put 100 spaceships in it, and the inker covered up about a third of them. Oh!
Ridiculous.
So this goes back to talking about shortcuts, Pete. What would you think of, you could draw like the one spaceship, right? And then draw a couple of others and then just Photoshop them all in, right? Oh, I guess you have to, it depends on camera angle. But
yeah, so but I've definitely done that when I've done my roughs. In Trumps, I had those people marching in line. So I drew the first line of them, one behind the other, and then I just copied and pasted them.
Yeah,
because they were all marching in the same. They're marching, so they all look the same. They're all marching the same way. They're not running away. And then I printed it out. When I came to pencil it was too small. I was like, well, what have I done? I spent all this time doing this. What have I done? But if I was inking that digitally, I could just go click and paste and drop them in.
Yeah.
Wait,
is that might that be a scenario where you just go outline?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I just outlined it.
Yeah, I think, and as a reader, I don't have problem. Maybe you like to see the front line if it's close enough, right? You like to see the front line, but I don't need to see all the others to know that that's what that is.
Yeah, that's right. I've certainly copied and pasted a picture of a car I made, drawn and shrunk it so it looks like it's further away, because people aren't going to look at that stuff in the background. As soon as they see there's a car back there, colors will change the color anyway.
You ever use like 3D models?
I have done in the past when I've got stuck. I used to rely on them quite a lot, but I don't anymore.
Yeah,
not much. I will for real foreshortening stuff. I can. It's not like a proper 3D model. It's just like an anatomy thing. Yeah, I did when I was at school. It was like life drawing to a point. They're not great. And once I was having my stuff, it was Joe Prado actually. He was looking at some pages I'd done of Wolverine, and he came across one panel and said, "Hey, do you 3D model for this arm?" I said, "Yeah, if that it was an arm coming out of like that."
Oh yeah.
I said, "Yeah, I did. How do you know that?" He said, "I can tell because it doesn't look right. It's like you're drawing the body, but then you just sort of stuck this. It's not coming out of the shot because these models don't move correctly. So if you just copy and paste it or trace over it, it's not going to look right." So
wow. Pretty impressive that he picked that out.
You can use it. I was very impressed. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. But that just shows how much it stood out for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will use it, but you don't. I wouldn't. It's no fun tracing anything anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will start using a life model. There's no problem. I don't find any problem doing that. I use my own face for facial expressions, my own hands for hands expressions.
Right.
I don't think there's any problem with it. No.
Well, and I think
just don't expect what you get on the model to be actually accurate.
Right.
Unless you are a 3D modeler, which I am not.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I think I would think the idea would be if you're first starting off, or if you don't know what
they're good live drawing apps, because you can just there's some of them have got like these pre-poses set in, so you can just, if you can't, haven't got a life model, you can just draw these things. But
after a while,
I've learned my anatomy now, and I know where things go roughly.
Yeah.
You can fudge it, like certain muscles. If you're drawing a whole, you just muscles on muscles. But I know where things go to more or less. Some things still get tricky. I'm not perfect, so sometimes do it tricky. And I will refer back to it and say, well, how does the body twist that way, and where's that muscle gone? I don't know.
Do you ever pick an angle and get into drawing it and then think, why did I pick this angle?
All the time. Especially with faces. At certain face angles, I was like, this is a mistake, and I know this is a bad angle. Why have I done this? This is a bad angle. No one looks good at this angle.
Yeah.
I had it on the Obsoletes cover, actually. I had them looking. Initially, I had them looking up at the guys above them.
Yeah.
When I was coming to draw it, I was like, all you see is like this.
Chins and noses.
No one's going to want to look at that. So I've had them all, their heads all came down. So they're not really looking at them, but they are looking upish.
Well, that's why if you think on the, I'm thinking of like some classic covers. You always see them doing things like this,
Yeah.
The whole body turn kind of thing.
That's a more interesting angle. They're turning and twisting, not just the back of a head. Hey, drawing backs of heads.
Right.
Or there's that angle. It's the back of the head, but it's more ear than you don't really see anything. I was like, oh, that's a terrible angle. I hate that.
A whole Fruit Bat leaves a whole bunch of comments here. He says, "Ooh la," and he says, "Use every trick in the book."
Yeah.
It's the camera. Heavy Comics says movies and TV shows and animes are better than comics, and yet he's called Heavy Comics.
Yeah.
Okay, then
you can, if you don't like comics, then that's fine.
Yeah. Then if you don't like comics, why is your name Heavy Comics? And then Fruitbat says doesn't get the foreshortening. Yeah, I think he was talking about where you were talking about the hand.
Yeah, so foreshortening is getting big. It's an interesting thing, actually. Comics do this. So they exaggerate the foreshortening, right?
Right.
So he said it here, exaggerate, tweak and exaggerate. So actually the hand should be a lot bigger.
Right.
Exaggerated size. So it really looks like it's coming out at you.
Yeah.
Really might as well do that.
Yeah, and the pencil needs to tweak, exaggerate. And I think if you ever look at, of course, you and I have talked about Kirby before. One of the things I love about Kirby is his foreshortening exaggeration. I mean, you look at Kirby, and this is what you see sometimes. Boom, and you're like, what right there? Fruitbat says for 3D modeling, you need to change the focal length to get the foreshortening correct.
My 3D modeling isn't that sophisticated. I don't spend money on it. I don't have like a thing where I could just print it out or anything like that. It's not even a 3D model. It's just like an anatomy thing I can turn around.
Oh, is it one of those little wooden stand-up things?
Yeah, but it's on an app.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Computer, so I can turn it around and I can move things. It's not a 3D model by any stretch.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I'm not going to invest money in 3D modeling. I'm not a 3D modeler.
I've seen a lot of pencilers have these little stand-up wooden.
I had that when I was young. I didn't get it because I didn't know my anatomy, right? So all I could draw was a wooden thing. I didn't understand.
A wooden model.
Yeah, where's the biceps? I said when I teach the kids drawing and I do my comics club and art clubs, I'm like, God, I can teach you this bit. This is the stick man, and you put cylinders for arms
Right.
and boxes and whatever, and you draw lines here. The next step, unfortunately, is years of studying anatomy. I can't. So that the How to Draw a Marvel book is great, right? But it goes from that stick man to the cylinders to an incredible finished piece of art. And like
John Buscema page.
the 30 years of studying anatomy. I'm like, guys, that's all I can get you. You gotta go and practice and study now. That's all I can do.
Yeah. Fruit baskets are more correct, and then you need to push it a little more. Talk about angles. Yes, choosing angles is hard. Willie says never tried 3D models before.
No.
You don't need them. You don't need them.
You know how to draw, you don't need it.
I back in the day, I knew a lot of artists who used bodybuilding magazines, swimsuit magazines, those kind of things. For 3D modeling, yes, use rudimentary stuff. Typo, rudimentary. I think I said rudimentary. I knew what you meant. You talk about the the years of drawing it, and here's what's funny, and I don't know how many writer types you've ever talked to, but it seems the artists get it a little bit more than writers do, but you absolutely you learn your basics, and you absolutely do. And a lot of times I saw as an editor, one of the things I would see artists, and I would say, you got all the basics down. You just need more pages. You literally just need pages. That's all it is. It's not that you suck or you just need some more pages. You just you're raw. You just need more. I can't do that for you. You got to make the pages happen. Here's the weird thing, though, Pete. The same is true for writers, and what I see in class is a lot of my writers don't get that. They don't understand that they need more pages. They're like, "Well, why isn't my first thing great?" It's like, because it's not, and it's your first thing.
Writers, especially, they fall in love with what they've written, don't they?
Oh my gosh!
This is amazing! This is the best thing I've ever written. How's no one going to like this? And if you go back to it a year or two later, you're like, oh, that was bad. Right. Artists do the same thing. I remember drawing stuff in school and thinking, wow, this is I'm getting better and better. This is really good. I look at it now and think, Christ, I wouldn't put that in my portfolio. My teachers went easy on me.
But the thing about it is, and which is probably true at the time, is that it probably was better than,
absolutely. We were told, Tom Mandrake said to us, because we are new and younger, so some of them are very young, you'll see that improvement quicker and you'll see huge gains in that improvement. So when you get to his age and he's in career, the improvements are very small. You don't always see them, but you are still improving. It's just you improve more when you're younger.
Yeah, because you have more to improve
more
upon.
To learn. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I think that's I think that's going to be certainly going to be the case. But it's like we said from the very beginning of this, is that you can see the art is visual. You can see it, where a story you got to read it, right? And so it's not, you can't hold two stories up and say, hey, which one did I write first? Right. You can't tell. You gotta read it. Hopefully you can tell then. But I don't get why, I don't understand why so many of my students, who are all writers, think that the first thing they do is brilliant. And it's like, okay, it's better than this last thing you did. Yes. But you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And they're like, I'm going to publish this. And I always tell them, here's the thing. Don't work on your dream project your first thing out. Don't do your dream because it's going to be terrible, right? Do something else. Get some practice. Figure out how it's done. Get 100 pages under your belt. Then go do your dream project, because then you'll have an understanding of how to do it.
That's what I tell guys. A couple of guys come up to my table at Comic-Con and ask me to look at their stuff, and I told them all the same thing. So look, if you want to draw comics, I made this mistake. Don't sit around waiting for Marvel and DC to come and knock on your door, because they're never going to do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good you are, they're not going to do it. Go and try and do some anthologies. Do 6 pages, 10 pages here.
Yep.
You know?
Make comics.
You'll learn a lot just doing those, and you're drawing and you're making comics, or just make your own comics, but don't try and make a 300-page graphic novel.
Right. No.
Just do some mini stuff, short stuff.
And keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Yeah. The one thing you also can't do, you can't redraw your page over and over and over and over and over again, right? You can't redraw.
When I finish a page, I don't look at it again. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's not my problem anymore.
Well, you want to learn from it. You want to be able to look at it and say, if I were to draw this page again, which I'm not going to do, I would fix that. But I'm done. I'm going to move forward, and I'm not going to do that the next time.
Yeah.
That's
that said, I am sat here redrawing some pages for Silverline Team Up, the ones that I roughed out ages ago, and I sort of finished penciling. I'm now looking at thinking, "God, that's terrible." Let's do that.
Really?
Yeah. I've got pages. I've got 3 pages here. I'm almost basically finished. When I obviously down tools to do trumps, and now I go back and I'm like, no, that panel's changing. That panel's rubbish. Yeah. I'll redraw them.
So were they finished, or were they roughed?
No, they were rough.
Okay.
Yeah, rough.
So you're not redrawing a finished panel, you're redrawing the rough.
Just I'm rubbing out certain bits and just redrawing certain figures better. I'm looking at thinking, cool, where's that arm coming from? Where is that arm? Where's his other arm gone? I'm not sure what I was thinking. That was a hard angle. I can tell that's good thing I caught that now.
So do you have Wallywood's 22 panels somewhere nearby?
Yeah. I have it on. I think everything I've got has that saved on it somewhere.
Okay.
I never look at it.
Really?
Never look at it. I think I've got the panel types down there.
Well, yeah. Once you do it enough, you have them here. You don't have to refer to it. Yeah, Phil Leon says, "Yep, do anthologies first." That's what he was going to say. That goes for artists as well as writers. I absolutely agree.
Especially, yeah.
And it is harder for it's actually harder for a writer to tell a good short story than it is a long story.
Yeah.
I will say it's easier to write a 22-page story than it is a 6-page story. Those are harder
for writers most things, actually, because like you say, it's not a visual thing. People walk past my table at Comic-Con, they'll stop and look at the pictures, whereas the writers are sat there with their books. They have to sell those hard to get someone to stop and say, "Hey, look at my book. Would you buy it?"
Look at all these words.
Stop and chat to me about, "Oh, that's amazing. How did you do that? And did you draw this?"
Right.
Well, obviously, I drew it.
Did you draw
else is it on my table? Amount of time. Did you draw this? Yes.
And you're wearing your hat, just a penciler?
You're really good. And my only answer is, well, yeah, I try. Thanks. I can't sit there and go, yeah, I know.
Right.
Obviously.
No. Clearly. I'm on this side of the table and you're not.
No, that's it. Yeah, thanks. I try my best.
Prubad said, if it's glaring, then changes are a must, especially for the artist.
Yeah.
And the master of the short story, Will Eisner. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of folks who could tell a good short story. They're just harder. They're harder to tell a good short story in comic form than it is to tell a when you've got more pages. Clearly, that you've got more time for development. But when you've got 6 pages or 8 pages or 12 pages, those are a little tougher to do. It can be done.
Every short story I've ever done, that I found that the ending gets cut very short. It wraps up very quickly. It's like action. There's a panel to finish. Done.
Right.
And so I can't squeeze it all in.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Well, and this goes back to the idea that you got to have that summary. And before you even start doing everything, you got to figure out, okay, I'm going to have this on page 1, this on page 2, and then you've got your summary. So you've got your skeleton there. And so you know what needs, and if you're writing and you're like, oh, I didn't get it all on this page, well, you know you got to fix something and get it all on that page because it'll destroy the rest of the pacing. I'm a big believer in that. All right, well, Pete, our clock has flown by.
There you go.
Pop up the Kickstarter one more time here.
Yeah.
Did we get no? I think that's where we were. Did we get one pledge? Yeah. We are at 39.62, 84 backers. We have 6 days to go. If you are listening to this and you haven't pledged to our Kickstarter, please consider going over and giving that a look. You get 3 comic books in one Kickstarter. Science fiction extravaganza, all 3 different kinds of stories, something for everyone. There's still lots of original art. There's a few commissions left. Commission an artist to draw something for you, one of your characters, a character that you like from Marvel, DC, or whatever. Commission them and they will do something for you. But get on over that Kickstarter, back it if you can. If you can't back it, then please consider sharing it and telling all of your friends that they should back it. Pete, I'd like to ask you what you're going to be doing this week, but I think I have an idea what that might be.
I will be looking at my phone waiting for a phone call, basically. Yeah.
So this time next week, you'll be Papa Pete.
Well, if it pops out in time, yes.
Yeah. Well, hold on though. Now, you said next Sunday. Isn't it officially Monday at your time?
It is Monday. It's come up to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I say I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully, it'll be done by now.
Yeah. It's my impression, and we didn't have to induce. It's my impression. Once they induce, I think it happens pretty quickly because I think what happens, and like I said, we didn't do it, so I don't know for sure. My understanding is they induce, and then that causes all the muscles to
get going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they did say once we're in, they won't be sending us home. So.
Yeah. So if they're going to induce at 1:30, you should be Papa by.
I just hope I have time to read the comics. I've got a lot of comics stacking up, and I'm figuring this is my time. This is my time to read them.
So true story. My dad said when they went to the hospital, I told you my mom gave birth pretty quick. My dad went to the hospital, and now he didn't go. This was back in the days when the men didn't go back in the rooms with them, and he was waiting in the waiting room, and he said a Charlie Chan movie. You know Charlie Chan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Charlie Chan, not Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chan, who was a Chinese detective.
Oh.
Really, it was really funny. It's
Jackie
good.
Chan.
Not Jackie Chan, Charlie Chan. Really good stuff. I don't think they show it today. I think because they're concerned, he's a Chinese guy, and I think, operating in America. But really funny stuff. He sat down to watch a Charlie Chan movie, and I was born before the movie was finished. And he says he's mad at me to this day because he doesn't know how the movie ended.
Yeah.
That's my dad. So it may be the same way for you for comic books, right?
It might be. Yeah, well, at least I can take that home with me. I've got so many to read. Because I always wondered when I used to read interviews with comic artists and stuff when I was younger, they'd always ask the question, so what are you reading at the moment? And every one of them would turn around and say, yeah, I'm not really reading anything at the moment. I'm like, how can you draw comics and not read comics?
Yeah.
You don't have time to read comics. I've got so many. I'm like, if I'm reading a comic, it means I should be drawing something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got a lot to read.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons I ended up giving up long running series. It's because I don't have time. It's easier for me to pick up a mini series where I feel like I can read 4 issues. I can read 6 issues. I can read a graphic novel. I might not be able to sit down and finish reading it right then, but over the period of a week or 2 weeks, I can
get it done.
Yeah, I can read it. But if you say I got to subscribe to a series again, well, that thing never ends. Yeah, probably not.
I swear I've got like 20 Spider-Man books in my bag at the moment. I thought, I've really got to catch up on this. I better start reading it.
Yeah. I would like to tell you it's going to get easier.
No, yeah. Well, the baby's going to sleep and I'll be reading. I'll be drawing.
Yeah. So absolutely, when the baby's first born, they will absolutely be sleeping a lot. Yes. And that'll be good. But they won't be newborns for a long time. Just wait till they hit the 2s and 3s and 4s.
When they start walking, it's a problem.
Yeah. All right, Pete, where can people find you on the interwebs?
On the Google, you type in Peter Clinton Art. Yeah, and you'll find me everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but where I am, you'll find me.
And where you are, there you shall be.
That's right.
Right. And you can find me all over the social medias. Look for Roland Man or Man Roland. I think it is on Twitter. Oh no, I don't have my wristband here with me.
Oh, wait.
What? No, I don't have it. I left it in the living room. Well, there you go. Until next time, make mine Silverline. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hi, I'm Greg Horn. Make mine Silverline.